don't know how this thing was even standing, honestly. This is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. High-tech redneck cannot do stuff like that. Okay, that's going to come out. The water heater is the only thing holding that wall in. I think the water heater out is going, but you can literally go outside out there if you wanted to. It's really, really pathetic. But no junction box. They just took some duct tape around it, put it together. Would you want that in your house? So we're tearing all these walls out. So we're going to tear this out. We're going to put some more beams in, just like this. This is where I grew up in. Okay, so I got 30 years into fixing homes up and building homes. Hey everyone, Kevin Jardé here with InstaDri. What we did today, this week, I should say, we actually had this whole back of the house was rotted. The inside floor is doing this, right? On this other end of the house, it was so bad the way they built it. They had 2x6s and not even solid. It was horrible. I don't know how this thing was even standing, honestly. So we took all this out. We tore it all out, and we actually extended the floor system to be the same level as the original part of the house, which is not really original, but it's the original first edition that's put on. So what we did now, this right here is obviously a 2x12 treated. Do you see all these bolts? This deck will never go anywhere. Why are these so close together? Because we have a joint right there. Okay, so we want to make sure this is all together and holding. This bolts go all the way through to the other side, which you have 3 or 4 2x10s in there as well. And because of the distance here, we actually had to put a fill-in board, as you can see right here. This is the original part of the house. Of course, this is not original, obviously it's new, but the original part of the house, we had to fill it in. So we filled it in again, right there. All right, and then we put our seal plates in there. This bottom plate, the seal plate is treated. Anything with concrete has to be treated. Pressure treated, however you want to call it. It has to be. Now, from here to this side of the house, this really that side was an inch and a half bigger. We're tearing this whole wall out. And while we're doing that, I'll show you right here. While we're tearing this out, look at these cracks. Look at how big a gap is. Okay? The foundation's just messed up behind the pole. I mean, it looks horrible. Alright, so I'm gonna replace this whole side of the foundation. The other side we're gonna do, we're gonna replace this whole side of the house. And we're gonna put a whole new footer in under it, an actual real footer. So, what else? This is what we did over here. All right. So, this house had rotted beams throughout holding. And they had 3 beams in it, right? Now, Kevin, you say, Kevin, why do you have 5 beams in this thing? Well, because when they put this addition on here, look how they notched out, right? They notched this out, and the main beam needed to be over here to jack the whole house up, right? This is where they had a huge sag. So I jacked this up and put it where it needed to be. And this beam here is was 100% necessary? Yes, it was. Was it necessary to jack up with? No. It's just holding these joints, so all this right here will be supported. All right. So you come in here. This is basically the center house. Now these beams, 3 of these beams, this one, and another one's gonna go all the way through. As you can see, that one is. It's gonna go all the way through to the front of the house, holding the house up. So in all reality, I can take the whole foundation out when I'm done, and wouldn't even need a foundation. But obviously, we want a foundation. So right here, we had this beam here. This is how we jacked everything up and made it perfectly level. This is where our bolts came through. All right. All of our footers, if you'll notice, all of our footers are 2 foot by 2 foot by 10 inches deep. Some of them are actually 2 foot deep. If you don't hit something hard, you've got to go deeper. Well, if you go deep, so deep that you can't get a good footer, that means you got to go wider, right? Because you have to have compression. So that's what we did. Now this is that wall that we talked about earlier that's falling out. Okay, that's going to come out. The water heater is the only thing holding that wall in. I think the water heater out is going. Now see all these wires? What a cluster, right? This will all be cleaned up. We have some new wires in here. The new wires will be nice and neat. The old wires will be torn out and put new wires in. So it'll be 100% redone. This was a 220 wire. That was actually, is this it? Nope. Here's 220 wire. Check this out. For one, it's fraying. See here? Literally fraying. Mice and stuff. But no junction box. They just took some duct tape around it, put it together. Would you want that in your house? No. So we're going to tear everything out. The only thing in this house that's been updated is the plumbing. Thank God, because I didn't have to replace the sewer line. All right, but everything's done. As you can see, it's got the PVC wire, plumbing in. We had to cut this one out because it was in the beam was in the way to get everything jacked up. But all we got to do is reattach it, and we're fine. Okay. And see in here, this is the kind of stuff we're dealing with. Redneck, high-tech redneck. I mean, you cannot do stuff like that. So we're tearing all these walls out. This whole wall that the house is sitting on, we're tearing out. We actually sandwiched good wood in between some of the bad wood, because you can't always cut this stuff out because the whole house is sitting on it, right? So we took out and we squished it in, and we put bolts in it, through bolts, so we won't have any issues at all with structure. As you can see, this is outside the wall where we saw earlier. That little piece of, I'm not even sure what that is, a piece of metal or something. But you can literally go outside up there if you wanted to. It's really, really pathetic. So we're going to tear this out. We're going to put some more beams in, just like this, down the center and down that edge. Once we get that put in, we jack it up, and it don't matter what happens to the foundation at this point. We can tear it all out and put a brand new one in. So if you like this, if it's helpful to you, please like and share. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, please, at Kevin Jardet. InstaDri Kevin Jardet. You can find it anyway, but it's Jardet. We have a lot of cool videos. I think we have like 80 plus, maybe 90 different stuff. You know, I own InstaDri. We do all kinds of foundation, mold remediation, Crawlspace Encapsulation, all that stuff. But this is where I grew up in. Okay, so I got 30 years into fixing homes up and building homes, and so this is kind of my therapy. Even though most people would freak out with this is kind of therapy for me. It actually helps my mind to be able to get out here and fix this stuff. But this is my flip, so I can do it at my time. So like and share, subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to ask them below. We'll be happy to get back with you. Thanks.